Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is another day that the Lord has made, and we're so glad, and we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. My name is Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and president of the nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life, and we are the action of hope and encouragement. Well, we have welcomed you to this segment of Project 365. Project 365 is an assignment that I've taken on under Trophy of Life that only renders hope, encouragement, and inspiration. We will bring you messages for the remainder of the year. The assignment is 365 days. Well, I would imagine and already know you're thinking, how in the world are you going to do 365 days of messages of hope, encouragement, and inspiration? Well, God said, do it. So I'm doing it. And I cannot do it alone. And I need your help to make it happen. So I'm reaching out to you as you are even viewing this particular segment. So let's do this. Not just Portia, not just Takira, and not just my guest, whom I will introduce momentarily, and not just Trophy of Life. It takes and you to deliver hope, encouragement, and inspiration. And this is going global. I won't say it will go global. It is going global. Okay.
Amen.
So I just want to say welcome to this platform. And what we want you to do to help it go global is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is a blessing within itself. We want anyone who is able to view these messages to come back and view them at another time. And not just that, but share it with someone. It may not be a message for you directly at that particular time or that particular day, but you may know someone that it will bless, it will encourage, it will render hope, encouragement, and inspiration. So do that for us. You subscribe to our channel and you will bless us and we will bless you. Let's say hello to our co-hosts on today and tomorrow and whenever. What's your name?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
What is your name?
I'm Takira. Takira
Takira.
Swan. I'm glad to be
Takira
here.
Swan. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. Today, it gives me great pleasure to present to some, introduce to others, our guest on today, Mother Phyllis Burgess. Mother Phyllis is, she's one of the members of, oh my, she's just a mother in the kingdom. And we're so grateful to have her. She's one who's full of wisdom, who's integral, who is lovable, who is, oh man, I'm not even going to share her. I'll just say she's a senior, but God knows she looks good for her age. And so look,
75.
75. Wow, that is
75.
wonderful. You're beautiful, mother. You're just beautiful. And on this Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, I just wanted to bring to you someone who has those attributes of what Martin Luther King had. And what dropped in my heart was someone that could share those types of messages. And I just thought about Mother Burgess. So she's been in some of the surroundings that maybe Martin has been in. If not Martin, some of the same settings that would share the messages that he wanted to get out. So on that note, I just want to present and introduce Mother Phyllis Burgess. You have it, Mother.
Hi, how are you? It's so good to be with you all today. I thought it was such a wonderful thing that you asked me to talk to you today, kind of bringing up one of my favorite people, Dr. Martin Luther King. For years, every time February rolled around and they said, remember the dream, something happened in me, and I tried to figure out what is this that makes me feel that certain way. I'm going to tell you in a moment, but I want to tell you that Martin Luther came on the scene when I was 10 years old. Now, I didn't quite understand what was going on, but I was fascinated. I did not understand it because I was too involved in my dolls. And yeah, back during that time, we played with dolls at 10
Yeah.
years old. So I did not really get interested in Martin Luther King until I got to middle school. We had something there we call current events. And I was not so much interested in Martin, but I wanted to be Oprah Winfrey. And you got a chance to get your piece of news that we got from something called the Afro. And we'd get a chance to stand up in front of the class and talk about that current event. And that's when I first started really taking an interest in Martin Luther King. And I know that most people politicize what he did, and in a sense it was because his grievance was with the fact that we lived in a country that had a constitution that said one thing and they were doing another. Now, I know even today, a lot of people try to say that the Constitution was not made for Black people. You didn't take time and read it. If you read it, you had a prejudgment already in your mind. If you read the Constitution, if you take a class and study, you'll find out the Constitution is as much for us as any man. So aren't you glad about one thing, though? Let me talk about that Constitution for a moment. See, because Martin was fighting because he wanted constitutional rights. But guess what? We don't have to worry about constitutional rights because guess what? Our Constitution is the 66 books. I had to get that in there. We got 39 of them that was preparing us to receive 27 that revealed everything. And guess what? We don't have to worry about amendments. It never changed. But Martin was out there doing what he did out of love. Now, I think the country is in such disarray now because that's where we're lacking at. We're lacking really, really bad. Now, like never before, we've got to be awakened. We've got to be awakened, most especially our Black people. You know why I say we have to be awakened? Because Martin Luther said, I have a dream. How many times have you thought, why are they telling us to remember the dream? The dream keeps us sleeping because dreams are not what you call it, real. That's what I want to call them. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to shut.
That's okay.
Let me stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
Dreams are not real. They are like repressed emotions. It's something that we wish to happen. And Martin was sent, I always call it deployed. He was deployed to earth for such a time as that. And I think Martin's dream was like a seed. But guess what? As we move into this next place of spiritual development, Black people are going to rise in a way that we've never risen before. Because when a seed is planted, it goes through stages of development. And right now, we're right on the cuff of maturing in a way where we can cause Martin's dream to really come to pass. But most of the time, we listen to the news and we stay focused on the things that are around us. And I would that we would just keep in mind that Martin was not about Black and white. I remember listening to a speech in Birmingham where he made a remark that someone was trying to make it Black and white, and he made it very clear he wasn't going to have it. This is not about Black and white. It was about systems. And if we're going to be an expression of what God would have us to be, we're going to have to deal with systems and not people. As long as we fight one another, we fall into the old way of divide and conquer. Willie Lynch, they tell me, said that on the James River, divide and conquer. But you can't, when I say divide and conquer, people think I'm talking about black and white, but we have to come together. We have to come together as a people, and we have to know what truth is and not allow what the masses are doing to affect what we know to be truth. You see, I said his dream was a seed, and the seed fell into the ground. But listen, when you plant a seed has to go through stages of development. And while that seed is going through development, there has to be someone who's caring for it, someone who's going to water, someone's going to till the ground. And even after you do all of that, I'm talking about Martin's dream now. Even after you do all of that, all of these years, how many years has it been? 46, something like that.
Mhm.
All of those years, we've been having all of these programs and talked much about Martin Luther King. But sometimes when a plant grows, if you don't continue to tend to it, it will die because of weeds. And I think that weeds are the things that we allow to be a part of our space, the kind of things that cause us to become unfocused. Uh, See, deeds are good, and Martin did a lot of good things, but like a tree, good seed, good fruit, they go together. I'm
Mm.
saying to you that Martin only put out good fruit because he was a good tree. So
Ah.
now we have to fall in line and mature the real us on the inside. I'm trying not to get into a preaching mode. Mature the real us on the inside so that we can produce what we need in order to line up with the next move that's about to take place in the earth. Now, um, great men and great women, they've done things that have gone down in the portals of history and time. But I want you to remember this if you don't remember anything that I'm saying. In time, and we all live in time, things are often spoken out of time. Hear me with your spirit. In time, things spoken out of time are often no longer remembered because
Yeah.
those who did understand it pass on and they get to the elderly stage of the tree and they die off. And those coming in had no concept of those words that were
Wow.
spoken in time, out of
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Things that were greater than even the deeds that he did. I think we have to understand that there is a writing in the Christian Bible that says that words are spirit and they're life. And I don't want us to think that that just goes for Jesus.
Mhm.
War, all
Yes.
words are spirit and their life. But what kind of life are we creating? We have to stop and think about that. What kind of life are we creating? So we take a look of ourselves and we say, well, what would King say to us today? You know what I think he would say? I think he would tell us to go back and revisit his words. We talk
Mm.
about his deeds and what he did. We need to go back and really listen to his words and stop listening to them. How do I want to put the word? Stop listening to them in a militant, violent way. One of the things that Martin Luther King said is that you can be militant and not be violent. You
Mhm.
can be militant in your persevering of a thing, of you being confrontational about a thing and not be violent at all. And I think that right now, we as a people need to be that way with ourselves, because there are things within us that has prohibited and prevented us from rising out of degradation and believing we are who God says we are.
Yes.
We just left out of a situation, out of a season, and as my grandson was playing the guitar, I was singing "Oh Holy Night," and it dawned on me that the words say, "Long lay the world in sin and ever pining," but then it said, "Until He appeared, and the soul saw its worth." Our problem is we don't see our worth. We don't
Ooh,
see our worth. If
wow.
we can see our worth, we can change things. And we've got to be willing to, I would say, polish disciples. We got to see, we want church members, but the mothers and the sister to your right, the sister to your left, we got to be willing to polish one another.
One
Let me
another.
you see, polishing ain't an easy job. Nobody wants to be polished because polishing hurt, but it ain't easy polishing either. But we need to take that challenge, because love is what causes everything to come about. Everything. Now, let me say that when I think about love and Martin Luther King, I think about how pure love is never selfish and it never thinks about itself. Someone, well, I think it was Socrates, I'm not sure, that said that we have to be willing to plant shade trees that we may never ever get to sit under. But that love makes us want to do something that goes beyond us. And I'm looking for us to be able to come together and do that, and be very confident that we can do exactly what God told us to do. Now, not only would King tell us to go back and revisit his words, we got to remember that our weapons are not carnal. We
Right.
don't need to be balling up our fists. We don't need to be running and breaking out store windows and all of that. That's just a sign of frustration. When people don't know what to do, they self-destruct. But all we need to do is take a knee. It's time for
Ooh,
the
take a
people
knee.
to take a knee. Yeah, we have to do that and stop and revamp, rethink where we are, because where we are right now, it's not about us. Sooner or later, we're going to pass off the scene, and we're going to have to think about, what did I leave behind? Martin left a wealth of things behind. We've got to be mindful that Jesus said, even as the Father sent me, even so send I you.
Mhm.
That's love. I wish I could sing it. That's love. And I'm telling you, that's love. And I never saw Jesus doubt. I never saw him go out. The Roman government was pretty bad, pretty bad, just as bad as ours is now. But I never read a single note where he was out there on the streets doing what we're doing now. We've got to get refocused on who we are and remember the way Martin carried it. There were people who did great things during that time. I loved Malcolm X, but you don't hear a lot about Malcolm X. You know why? Because Malcolm's tree was not seeded the way Martin's
Martin's tree
tree
was.
was seeded. Okay.
Mhm.
And only, see, when we say only what we do for Christ will last, you don't have to get religious with it. Just
Right.
stop and think. I mean, it's only what you do for people, and because you love right and because you love truth. I don't care where you are in life, you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You don't need nobody to give you anything. Hmm? They
Mm.
told me one time that I would be on welfare all my life when I was, oh God, what was I, 22? I was ill then, dying, they said, and they didn't know why. They put me on welfare and said, oh, well, Well, nothing we can do. In 10 months, I was off of welfare and making more money than my social worker. I'm telling you, we have got to invest in ourselves, in one another, because when we start investing in ourselves and loving ourselves and one another, the whole community will change. It
Yes.
starts with
Yes.
one person, and then it will go from heart to heart and breast to breast. Learn to nurture, learn to know that the things that Martin left behind was I call it a cheat sheet. It was a cheat sheet. If we would take time and go back and see how he did things, he did not care what anyone said. He set his face like flint and he went forth doing that which he believed in. But I'm going to say this in my stopping, you've got to remember, we got to stop dreaming and make Martin's dream a reality, because the seed was planted. Now it's time for us to recognize that it's birthing in the generation that's coming in the earth right now. Oh, the millennials are ready. They're ready inward, but they don't know who they are yet. They are put in the earth with that inward ability to bring a reality to Martin's dream. And I think that those of us who older, that we should do everything in our power to try to help them to find themselves. In back years and years ago, they used to sing a song in the church that say, "Lost around the throne." That sounds so silly, but that's what's happening. People are lost. You're right around the throne of God. When John went out and preached, repent for the kingdom of God is at hand, my God, Jesus did his doing, went on back to glory. So now all we have to do is walk in it.
Walk
All we
in
have
it.
to do
Walk
is
in
walk
it.
in.
Walk
Yes.
in it. Well, let's chat about this. I'm thinking about the next generation, whether it's your next, my next. What would be the most golden thing you would like to leave with them? And
I think the important thing with the generation that's coming along now is that we somehow get across to them that they not define themselves by anything outside of themselves. I believe that the generation that's coming in, the millennials, that they are born, they can.
oh, mother, we lost you.
I don't know what happened.
Okay,
Can
just keep on talking.
Okay, they were
There you go. You're back.
They were packaged. They came here with what they need, but they need those that are older to be able to sow into them so that they can recognize who they are. They're walking around feeling lost because they are out of place. They were sent here for a specific assignment. And I believe this with everything in me. But because they don't know history, and because the school is not teaching history like it did 40 years ago, they're wondering, what am I doing here? What am I for? These are some. I love the way the millennials don't let you tell them anything. You got to prove it. If you say it, you got to prove it. That's a good thing. Mom, stop being mad at the kids because they ask you why. You know, they need to know why, because they've come into a situation that my generation made for them. So now it's up to us. We need to tell them, just believe in yourself, because within you, you have everything you need to make it in life. You have everything that you need regardless of what's going on around you. But the sad thing about a lot of the millennials, I talk to a lot of them, is that they are leaders. Most of them that I've talked to, they have all the qualities of a leader, and that's a good thing. But they keep looking around them and wondering, well, which way do I go? What do I lead? All you got to do is just be you.
Be
Just
you.
you.
Mhm.
Just be you.
Well, thank you so much, Mother. I'm telling you,
Yes.
that was wonderful. And I am really asking our audience to share this video with the younger generation. Not even the younger generation, but some of my generation, some of Takira's generation, and those that are even younger than that. So it's so important to know your worth. I really agree with that. You have to know your worth and don't try to do things like anyone else because you're such an original.
Absolutely.
You are an
Absolutely.
original. So
Absolutely.
whatever you bring to the table,
There's a reason why we all have different fingerprints.
see, that's a whole nother hour. That's a whole nother
Yeah.
hour right there.
I won't talk. I'm keeping quiet.
No, that was wonderful. I really, really, really enjoyed that. Takira, what is your feedback?
Well, I have my notes that I took. But I think what she said goes along right with some of the other guests that we've had about looking into yourself and just being who you're supposed to be during this time. And what I really like, one of the things that you said, that we have to be willing to polish one another. I believe I'm a part of the millennial generation, and I do believe that a lot of us, we are born with those characteristics to lead and make change. But
Absolutely.
but we need the generation above us to guide us and help us, because we think we
Yeah.
know a lot, but we really don't know anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and how when we polish ourselves and we focus and we put in the work and we do that through pure love, like you said, that's how we can make that change. That's how the fruit can start producing on the trees that have been planted and rooted before us. So I really enjoyed that, and it's very motivational to just go out and be brave and start with that self-reflection so that we can mature and that we can produce and make change, especially during these crazy times. So I just really enjoyed what you had to share.
God bless you.
That was really wonderful. You had something else, Mother? I'm like,
I just want to say it was very difficult for me to just sit here and try to talk to you all without preaching. That's all.
Well, you
but you
That
did
was
did
very,
yourself.
good. You
that
did
was
good.
very hard. That was very hard. But anyway, I enjoyed spending my time here with you today. And I'm going to be checking back and see what you all are doing. I go over your page every now and then, and I find a lot of great things going on. And I'm looking for God to open up some doors for you all. I'm talking about doors that you don't even see. They're doors. People talk about doors being open, but they are usually talking about specific things that they see that they want to occur. But I'm saying to you that I see doors that you don't see that God's going to be opening for you. And I believe that God is going to take your outreach to another level. I really do. I really believe that before long, you're going to have to maybe hire what did they call them? A socialist, not a socialist, a social worker. You might have to hire a social worker or a mental health worker because I can see it going places where you probably aren't seeing right now, but you can't reach out to people and tell them all of the great things that you're telling them without one of them one day getting back and say, well, what am I going to do with this?
I believe that. I received
Yeah.
that word and I believe that. I really do. Because this
Mhm.
thing, as I've stated at the beginning of Project 365, we have to learn to step into something that's bigger than us.
Absolutely.
Bigger than us.
Absolutely.
And this is.
And do you know what's bigger than you?
Right.
Everything that you can't see when you look in the mirror. See, we think that's all to us, what we see when we brush our teeth in the morning. You know, I gotta stop because I feel
Okay.
a priest getting ready to come in.
Okay. I love it. I love it. You're such an original, and I love what Archbishop Ralph Dennis has said. He said, "I be who God said I be, and
All
I
right.
be nothing else." So I say
Amen.
that to our audience as well. Be who God said
Mhm.
you'll be,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
refuse to be anything else. So
Absolutely.
again, I just thank you, and I thank everyone who has watched, and I'm thanking you in advance for those that will share. And also, don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay.
Yes.
I love you. God bless you. And I will see you on tomorrow.
Bye.
Kiara, guess who we're going to have tomorrow?
Who? We got to find out. Tune in tomorrow, okay?
Oh, that's not fair.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.